Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from Old Dog 61, and he's in the Bismarck, Tier 8 German battleship. And he has just fired his first salvo on a Pensacola and got the Citadel. Nobody is surprised. Anyway, he is on the map Two Brothers in a 4-point domination game mode, and it's a Tier 8 battle. Now the enemy team has one more destroyer, and well, there is a carrier around, but the carrier is only Tier 6, so shouldn't be that much of an issue. But the enemy team having one more destroyer is kind of bad. The enemies split the destroyers up, so they have one at point Alpha and one at point Delta, it seems. And well, the friendly team only has one destroyer who is coming around here towards point Delta. But this means the friendly team will have a hard time trying to get hold of point Alpha, because the enemy destroyer can't just capture it. The friendly team has nobody who can get close and spot him. And while there is a Fiji here in the front, the Fiji might be... well, the Fiji is gone. Not that surprisingly either. I mean, with smoke, he might have a chance there in the front for a while, but... meanwhile, Old Dog managed to get rid of the Pensacola, which is pretty nice. Now, the enemy has a major advantage on the left side, and they also seem to have quite a few ships there, so the friendly team really should be pushing here in point Delta. Now, the majority of the forces here are still a little bit too passive, which is not that great, but the friendly team has a destroyer inside, so has the enemy team, and well, nobody can capture. They have to get rid of the enemy destroyer. Now the best way of doing that is waiting until the smoke clears. Also, the Tirpitz is a problem. Tirpitz has 6-kilometer torpedoes, so if you're in a battleship you really don't want to get that close. And while the Bismarck is a great brawler, so is obviously the Tirpitz, and the Tirpitz has the advantage in close quarters. So Old Dog is not pushing towards this Tirpitz, he is reversing currently, and he is keeping his distance. An advantage of the friendly team being split up here is that they might get flanking fire on the Tirpitz, so I mean the Tirpitz can still a reasonable angle against the friendly forces, but looks like he's currently showing quite a bit of broadside towards the majority of the friendly fleet, which is nice. So all Old Dog has to do is try to stay out of 6 kilometers, and well, now that the Tirpitz is turning broadside, he can hopefully land a few nice shells. Now this would also be an opportunity to use Hydro. The question is, of course, will he need Hydro later on, maybe against the Mahan. Now he is in 5.6 kilometers, which means it's quite possible that there are torpedoes on the way. So Old Dog has decided that cautiously reversing is probably too predictable, so he is speeding back up, and now since he is turning away, he should be able to get clear of torpedoes. He's also noticed torpedo bombers, so he's probably focusing them. You can't see it in a replay. But he's also launched his plane and he's turning towards the torpedo bombers. Make it harder for them to target him, and they are only Tier 6 planes, so while the torpedo bombers desperately try to get the good firing angle, they are slowly getting shredded, and they might be down or they could do anything. It's also possible that they were just passing through. It looks like the enemy carrier is attacking the Ryujo. That would of course be pretty foolish, just flying over a Tirpitz and getting shredded. But it's possible that the enemy carrier wasn't paying attention to his planes. Now meanwhile, the friendly team is getting rid of the Mahan, which is quite nice. Once the smoke ran out, obviously the Mahan was a little bit too brave, and the friendly team pushed in and took care of that. Now Old Dog has now, I guess, two possible courses of action. He could just go north with his team, but it would take him a long time to reach point Bravo, and he could try to defend here. Now there are two friendly battleships who were retreating from the left point, and they are somewhat coming this way, although I'm not sure if they will escape. This Amagi is showing broadside and is probably spotted by a lot of ships, so Not looking too good for the Amagi, but the Tirpitz, I guess, is far enough away that I'll expect the Tirpitz to escape. Now, a logical option for the enemies would be to push here towards Point Charlie. And the friendly team doesn't have a lot of resources here, but they can at least try to delay it. Bulldog is really healthy, so if he doesn't push in blindly, if he holds position here, which he's currently doing, he can wait for the enemy fleet to arrive, probably then at least delay them. The friendly team is behind, so if the majority of the forces manage to capture Point Bravo and those two brave battleships here manage to defend Point Charlie, then they can hopefully turn this around. And there is a cruiser showing broadside, so let's see how German accuracy performs. Unfortunately, he is avoiding those shells mostly. At 15 kilometers, the enemy had quite a bit of time to realize that shells are coming and to take evasive action, and unfortunately he did exactly that. Now there is also a Benson coming this way, and we don't actually know where all of the enemy ships are going. It looks like this North Carolina turned around, which is surprising. I would really have expected the majority of those ships to come straight towards Point Charlie, but friendly forces in the north are spotted, so I guess it makes sense for some of those ships to reinforce the north. Also, a lot of enemy battleships seem to be very close to the zone wall, which is fortunate for the friendly team. If the enemies had stayed in a more central location, they could already be at Point Charlie or at Point Bravo. So yeah, meanwhile Old Dog is still here holding his position. Plan is probably still the same. It's defend and buy the majority of the friendly forces in the north some time. Now it looks like that there are a few ships coming this way. And there is even Benson, which is way too close. Now this would also be a very good time to use Hydro. Especially since German Hydro had... Well, okay, the battleships don't have the very strong German Hydro anymore. But still, hydroacoustic search would have been the right decision here. It's likely that the Benson has fire torpedoes. Friendly Benson is also here helping to engage. He could have even been with Hydro a bit more aggressive and pushed towards the smoke. But I have to say, considering that there are quite a lot of enemy ships, retreat might be a decent option. Now we can see a bit, well, 4 enemy ships are coming this direction, which includes the Benson. And, well, the friendly Tirpitz is getting even closer to the zone wall for some reason. The Tirpitz should have really tried to go to a more central location by now. You can understand that while escaping he wanted to go further south, but he had enough time to come back towards the middle. And, well, at least we have a Budyonny here who is showing broadside. And a nice citadel, unfortunately still floating. And, well, Old Dog still not using his... Now he's using his Hydro. While I would have preferred it sooner, it's still quite a good time. There are, I mean, we don't know where or when the Benson launched torpedoes, but it's still highly likely that there are torpedoes coming this direction. There is a Hipper with 6-kilometer torpedoes, which is soon in range. And, well, Old Dog is further retreating 2 fires, so he might be using his damage control soon, I suppose. Now let's see if he can get a few nice shots at the Hipper, but the Budyonny is spotted again, so he is going for the Budyonny instead, I presume. And we will hopefully be able to finish him. There are torpedoes that I've expected for a while now. And that's 1 less cruiser. Now it's not looking so good for the friendly team. They're behind shipwise, they're behind point-wise, and well, I mean, the defense for Point Charlie is still ongoing. I guess the tier pits is now going a bit further north since he can't go further south. The Benson is still sticking around defending. The carrier is wisely evacuating. The problem is the friendly team lost everything in the north, and it's, well, not looking so good. Enemy Benson's still very healthy. And secondaries are opening up at the Benson. Benson is the most dangerous target here. Unfortunately, with the current angle, not a lot of secondaries have a line of fire. And, well, Old Dog has once again a decision to make. He could just turn around and engage this Bismarck and maybe chase down the Benson. The friendly tier pits is finally returning to the playing field. So there's an argument to be made to just turn around and help this tier pits. But there are like 3 enemy ships in the north, and the only thing they can do is like push in this direction, so it's very likely that they are coming this way, which means they could just be running into the friendly carrier, which would be bad. They could also just push in here and take this point, which would be bad. And if the friendly team uses all their forces to chase down 2 ships at the zone wall, then they are going to lose, because they are just too far behind. Sinking 2 ships won't be enough. So, there is Bismarck here coming in the north, as expected. And the friendly carrier maybe should have stayed behind this island. He might just be pushing here a little bit too much. This carrier gets spotted, he's in serious trouble, because there are most likely 3 ships coming this way. And, well, Old Dog is in a perfect position at least to intercept the Bismarck, protect the carrier, and protect this cap. And afterwards, maybe he is able to push towards Point Bravo, because taking capture points should also be a high priority for the friendly team. Now, meanwhile, here in the south, it looks like they took out the enemy destroyer, which is nice. If those 2 friendly ships win this battle without losing a ship, this would be awesome. Now, Old Dog isn't pushing straight at the Bismarck. Could be a good tactical choice, because there are most likely 2 enemy ships behind the Bismarck, so if he charges in this direction, he might end up in a 3 versus 1 fight. If he can take out the Bismarck first and then push towards Point Bravo, he has a much higher chance of success. Although time is running short as well. But he is taking the safer route, and seems to working nicely so far. Meanwhile, there is still the battle in the south, and it looks like everyone down there likes the zone wall. And yes, the friendly team succeeded in the south without losing a ship, which is amazing. There are once again planes incoming, but I think the anti-air takes care of that. The plane is launched and the enemy Bismarck went down to fire. Now we see the North Carolina. I'm quite surprised that the North Carolina isn't further this direction. I would have expected her to be close behind Bismarck. Now the friendly carrier should probably turn around at this point. He is in quite a dangerous situation if he gets spotted there. And well, unfortunately the friendlies in the south are quite far away, so they could try to push through the channel. They could also try to push for Point Alpha. Interestingly enough, the friendly team has now 1 more ship. And well, we speed this up here a little bit for now. But point-wise, it's pretty even, but the enemies have a slight lead. Now, while you are capturing a point, it doesn't produce any points. So this means all the friendly team has to do is contest a capture point. And I think we can slow it down again. So if the friendly team contests a capture point for a short amount of time, they should overtake the enemies. Which means there are 3 minutes left. So, well, all Old Dog has to do is sail into Point Bravo and survive. And obviously the other friendly ships have to survive as well. It's also possible to sink an enemy ship. This would also put the friendlies in the lead. But then they could also lose a ship, so it's pretty close. Of course they have to prevent the enemies from reaching 1,000 points, which means the friendlies have to get inside the capture point as fast as possible. And those two citadels certainly helped a lot, which means the next salvo could be just a game winning if they sink the North Carolina. Now, it's possible that the friendly carrier is out of planes because we don't see any planes. But still, his priority should be at staying alive, because point-wise it's just very crucial that he stays alive. Which means it might make more sense to turn around. I guess he can at least provide anti-air, and well, there are two ships that are almost down, so Old Dog has to decide if he tries to go for the North Carolina or the Independence. The Independence would be the easier kill. Independence is also, well, let's have a look. Yeah, the Independence, nah, I think he would have had a chance. He's focused his secondaries on the Independence. Going for the Independence might have been the better solution, because the Independence is now safe behind an island, but from the south, friendlies are engaging, and there is still over 1 minute left. Also keep in mind the friendlies now contest both points, so the friendlies will shortly overtake the enemies, and yep. Now, friendly team is in the lead, so they are winning. And yeah, now they won. Now let's take a look at the results. Old Dog 61 managed to get 2,576 base experience. Nicely done by him. He stayed the whole time near the objectives and helped capture or defend them. And yeah, it paid off. He earned himself Fireproof, Confederate Kraken and High Caliber. He scored 190,000 points of damage and yeah, 253 secondary hits. So yeah, it featured a nice ship, the Bismarck, and it was a close battle. So I hope you enjoyed watching this, and I see you guys next time.